Oh my gosh. I am slightly tired. I just got back from the gym for my second session at the end of the week and my body is feeling pretty beat down. I'm sure you guys know that feeling when you can't help but you bend down and you groan. I picked up my shoes before I was leaving the gym and one of my coaches turned around and looked at me and was like, whoa, that was a legit groan. Sometimes you're just so sore you can't help it. So that's why I'm gonna take you guys today through my stretching routine that's just gonna help calm my body down, kick me back into my sympathetic nervous system, get me out of that parasympathetic where I'm heightened and I'm hitting all these workouts, and just kind of focus on relaxing and unwinding, because I just had my shake and I usually can't come home and eat right away. So instead, I go through my stretching routine. So I'm gonna take you guys through that today. The first thing we're gonna start with is our lats. I hit about 100 toes to bar and 40 plus bar muscle ups, so my lats are feeling really good right now, and I wanna make sure that I don't let them stay tight and I unwind them. So that way my shoulders sit back and I don't start to get really internally rotated. So stretch number one, follow along with me. I will tell you how long I'm gonna hold each stretch so you guys can complete this routine at home. Let's get started. Stretch number one is gonna be a child's pose, but we're gonna actually walk our hands to one side so we dive into our lat. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my knees under my body. You can go slightly wider if you want. Hands are gonna go out long, and that's my starting position. I'm gonna spend 1 minute with my hands pulled to the left. So I should feel it all down my left lat. And then I'm just gonna relax into this by trying to sit my hips to my heels, breathe into wherever I feel the stretch, and then take my forehead to the mat. After I've spent 1 minute there, then I'm gonna go ahead and switch sides. Same thing, opposite side. So I'm gonna come back to my center position, and then I'm gonna think about sitting deeper back, and I'm now gonna walk my hands to the left. You might notice one side's a little bit tighter than the other, but as you're doing the stretch, just try to breathe into wherever you feel the stretch and try to let go in that area. Okay, next we're gonna go into one of my favorites, and we're gonna spend 1 minute going through this flow. Sometimes I spend a little bit longer because I love it so much. It's gonna be a down dog into a cobra or a press up position. So what that's gonna look like is I'm gonna hit start. I'm gonna think about pushing my tailbone to the ceiling and driving my chest to my quads. So head comes through, feel a nice good stretch. And then I'm gonna come forward and drop my hips to the ground, looking towards the ceiling. And I'm just gonna flow through this for 1 minute. On the down dog, to make it a deeper stretch, try to press your heels into the floor and your tailbone to the ceiling. Oh, it feels so good, the press up position or the cobra, because we hinge a lot in CrossFit, so this really helps us undo our hinge. All right, going through that slow and controlled is really relaxing. Next stretch, so stretch number 3 is gonna be for our triceps. This is an oldie but a goodie, and I also like it because I'm sitting on my heels, so I feel like my quads get opened as well. But I'm just gonna hold 1 minute per side, just thinking about reaching my hand as far down behind my back as I can, and then keeping my bicep by my ear. Just keeping my chest nice and tall, my hips on my heels, trying to prevent the low back arch. So I do wanna keep my ribs down and really focus on isolating my tricep. I'm gonna spend 1 minute on each side. It's an oldie but a goodie. Good. So once you've gone through your 1 minute, we'll go ahead and switch sides. And you might notice one side is slightly tighter than the other, but I'll go ahead and flip around so you guys can see my hand behind my back. So I'm reaching as far as I can down my back. Okay, so our next stretch, squatting down is so painful today, is gonna be the wall twist. So again, 1 minute per side. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna find our squat position, and you're gonna put one hand inside of your foot and the other arm is gonna go up to the wall. So we should feel this in our hips and our upper back, and we're just working on our rotation, trying to open up our thoracic spine as well. So I'm gonna hold 1 minute per side. The goal is to be as upright as possible, and this is one I'm definitely still working on, but 1 minute per side. Definitely a work in progress. Quads are lit. This one feels really good. So for our next stretch, we're gonna spend 2 minutes per leg. The key here, and this is what I like to talk to a lot of people at my gym about, is when we do this stretch, we don't wanna have our hands on our front knee, even though we think that might be good or it's a comfortable position, because it just took the stretch out of what we actually wanna work. So we wanna think about keeping our chest upright. So my shoulders are over my hips, and I'm almost gently pushing my hips forward. And that's gonna open up all through this quadrant right through here, which is what we wanna be opening. So spending 2 minutes in this position, because we have a lot of fascia, and that fascia can get really dense and wanna shorten, especially if we use our quads a lot. So we wanna spend 2 minutes to actually let the muscle start to let go, get through the fascia so we can stretch the muscle. So I'm just gonna hang out here, focus on my breathing. I think I like to focus on taking a 3 to 4 second inhale, a 3 to 4 second exhale, and that helps that 2 minutes go a little faster. It also helps my muscles start to let go. This next stretch is one of my favorites. So it's a different variation of a stretch that we use, but it's gonna open our pec major and our pec minor, especially our pec minor. So if you're noticing you have a tight chest or you feel like your shoulders are really pulled forward, this is the stretch that you wanna be doing, holding about 1 minute per side. So I'm gonna lie down on my belly. I'm gonna bring one arm out to the side. A lot of times we go straight with our arm, but we're actually gonna bend our elbow slightly. You can play with your elbow above or below your shoulder. And then from here, I'm gonna think about keeping the shoulder pinned back, pressed through the floor, as I bring my leg up and over. And then I'm gonna relax. This is not about the hip twist, but it's all about the pec. The last stretch is also isolated for, or not isolated, but geared towards opening up our biceps and opening up our pecs. I tend to struggle with getting really rounded shoulders, so this one really helps me, especially I use it for a warm up if I'm gonna be going overhead or I'm hitting a ring muscle up or a ring dip or even a bar muscle up. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna bring our hands behind us and our feet. We're gonna go into a tabletop position. When we do this, we wanna think about squeezing our shoulder blades together to open up our chest, and then we're gonna gently lift our hips as high as we're comfortable with. I kind of like to rock back and forth, just focusing on continuing to squeeze my shoulder blades together. If this is too intense for you, we can leave our hips a little bit lower, which is gonna put less pressure on our elbows and on our wrists. It's also a great wrist strengthener and builder as well. Holding that last tabletop stretch for about 30 to 60 seconds, and you might have to take breaks and that's okay. The goal is to work up in time. Now for my last stretch, which is my absolute favorite, and I feel like you guys should definitely not skip this one. I look forward to this one at the end of each of my routines, but it is actually from Go On, and this whole routine is my daily protocol from Go On. But it is the relax stretch. So it's 1 minute to yourself of quiet time, turn off your brain, just do what the video is showing and lie on your back, breathe, and relax. And then when we finish that, we get to hit the green check mark. So I'm going to come to my back and just take a couple seconds for myself. I like to cross my hands, sometimes put one on my chest, one on my belly, and just focus on my breathing, closing my eyes. I hope that was super helpful. This has been my go-to routine post-training, and the more I'm in the sport, the longer I'm in the sport, the more I realize how important recovery is. Let your body recover and your training sessions will be better, so then you will perform better when you go to compete, or just over time and over that progression. You will see that progression going up. It's not always a linear progression. There will be ups and downs, but the more we recover, the better we can do. I hope you guys found this helpful though. If there's any other recovery tips, stretches, mobilization, mobility, anything along those lines that you want to see, make sure to drop those in the comments, and definitely subscribe because we've got an awesome sauna ice bath video coming for you that we just installed a cold freezer, or like a giant cold freezer tub in our basement, and filled it with water. We sealed it first, so it's not going to link, but we will bring that to you guys soon. So make sure to subscribe, smash the like button, it does help our channel, and comment below with anything you guys want to see. Have a great day.